Welcome back to the Datarekha audio guide. I'm Diya.
And I'm Arjun. Today, a lesson that spends most of its energy talking you out of the exact thing its title promises. Multi-agent systems.
That's a strange pitch. Most people I hear are racing toward multi-agent. Why the cold water?
Because there's this seductive sentence engineers say. Let's have a planner agent, talk to a research agent, talk to a writer agent. It sounds sophisticated. And reaching for it too early is, in the lesson's words, the single most common architecture error in agent engineering. Multi-agent is real and sometimes necessary, but it is never the default.
Okay, lay out the menu first. What are the actual shapes?
4 topologies. Single agent, one good prompt, a few tools. That's the start line, and it honestly handles the large majority of tasks. Then supervisor, sometimes called orchestrator workers. A central agent breaks the task up, hands pieces to workers, and stitches the results back together. Then swarm, peer agents where anyone can hand off to any other. And hierarchical, supervisors of supervisors for huge task trees.
And in the real world, which of those actually shows up?
Supervisor dominates. It's roughly 70% of production multi-agent systems because it maps so cleanly onto split this into independent pieces. Swarm is the frontier, not the default. Flexible and powerful, but the routing is emergent, so the traces are genuinely hard to follow. Hierarchical is the most power and the most overhead. Almost nobody needs it.
So here's my real question. How do I know? Actually know that a task deserves more than one agent?
The lesson gives you one honest criterion, and it's not, the task is important, or I have lots of tools. It's context isolation. Multi-agent earns its cost only when subtasks genuinely need separate context windows.
Unpack separate context windows. Make that concrete.
3 clean examples. Parallel research. 3 workers each dig into a different source, each with its own context, and a supervisor merges their short summaries. A long code base. You split it across workers, so no single context window has to hold the whole thing at once. Or genuinely independent subtasks you want running concurrently for raw speed. In every case, there's a concrete reason the work can't share one window.
So let me try to state the test sharply. If I can't name which isolated window each agent needs and why it has to be separate, I don't actually need multi-agent.
That is exactly the test, almost word for word. If you can't name the specific isolated context each agent requires and why it must be its own, you don't need multi-agent. A single agent with good tools is cheaper, faster, and far easier to debug and evaluate. Full stop.
Spell out the bill then. What am I actually signing up for when I add that second agent?
3 taxes, all at once. Every extra agent is more LLM calls. So latency times cost, both go up. It's more places to fail, more failure modes, and it's a much harder debugging and evaluation story because non-deterministic handoffs are genuinely hard to trace and test. The lessons line is, multi-agent multiplies latency, cost, and failure modes. Make it justify all 3.
And swarms are the worst offender on that last one, the tracing.
By far. Think of a supervisor as a control tower. Every plane is routed through one place. You can watch and log. A swarm is more like an open trading floor. Anyone can hand off to anyone. The control flow is emergent, and reconstructing who passed what to whom after the fact is a nightmare. Supervisor contains the chaos because the orchestrator is a single point to inspect.
There's a pattern here I want to name. The teams that went big on swarms early. What happened to them?
They're largely the ones now rewriting those swarms as routing plus a single capable agent. That's the punchline buried in the lesson, and it's the most useful thing in it. The elaborate multi-agent cathedral often gets quietly demolished and replaced with classify the request, then hand it to one good agent.
So if I do have a legitimate reason to go multi-agent, what's the sane shape?
The pragmatic middle path the lesson recommends. A supervisor with focused workers on isolated contexts. And crucially, each worker returns a short, structured summary, not its entire transcript. That keeps the supervisor's own context lean. Pair it with deliberate context engineering and strong observability, and you get most of the benefit without the swarm's chaos.
So, the one sentence to take away:
Don't reach for multi-agent to look sophisticated. Reach for it only when you can name the isolated context each agent needs. Otherwise, one capable agent with good tools wins on cost, speed, and your own sanity.
name the isolated context or stay single. That's the Datarekha audio guide. See you in the next one.